rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing for the invocation by Father Mark Campanero from Our Lady of Hope. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. O God, you who are unchangeable, yet rule over the changes of seasons, we praise and bless your holy name as we enter into this new season of summer. As we look forward to recreation, may there be for the next few months a time of recreation. May we be allowed to enjoy your wondrous nature, protected from violent storms. Protect our children who look forward to play this summer, especially those in the Gloucester Township sponsored youth events. We praise you for the achievements of our young and old, most especially the Hockey Alliance national champions, the students from Triton High School, and the graduates of the Citizen Police Academy. May they, from these accomplishments, look even forward to greater accomplishments in their life. Energize us adults as well, who lead our young to grow into be good citizens of our township. Bless us this evening as we gather to deliberate the matters of the township. Inspire our council members to act justly in their decisions and discussion. Look kindly on our mayor and his administration. Look protectively upon our police force members, our EMTs, our firefighters, and all those who often place themselves in danger to keep us from danger. Lord God, bless us with warm sun and gentle breezes, refreshing waters and vibrant conversation this season. For we know that all our blessings come from you, O Lord, for you are a Father, Son, and Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, Father Mark. This regular meeting of Township Council has been held in accordance with the scheduled meetings of Township Council, established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designated the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provision of the Open Public Meetings Act. We are using an electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record. We request that all those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly to the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township's Clerk's Office and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Mr. Schmidt? Mr. Seiler?
Here.
Mrs. Straga?
Here.
Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Bianchini?
He has a family matter, so does Mr. Schmidt.
Mr. Lechner?
Here.
Chief Earl?
Here.
Mr. Parlamere?
Here.
Mr. Cantwell?
Here.
Mr. Cordis?
Here. We have a few presentations this evening. I'm going to start off with Chief Earl.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President. Good evening, Council. Mr. Vice President, I'd ask if you would like to join me in some of the presentations. I ask Lieutenant Barton also come forward, please. Real special night we have here tonight, not only for the Gloucester Township Police Department, but boy, what a full room with so many people being honored. And you'll hear tonight the sense of our community aspect of the Gloucester Township Police Department. And when I'm about to work with Lieutenant Barton and introduce Lieutenant Barton for some of the great, really, programs that we've done as far as community policing. And we're honored here tonight that we have about 40, or at least 40 graduating from our Citizens Police Academy class that just concluded after about 10 weeks. Actually went on a little longer because they came and sat in our awards program this year, added a little bit extra time onto that. So we thank them for their participation. But it really is an example We have 3 different programs that we'll mention to you tonight, awards, and they're all about really how we can be a part of the community of Gloucester Township and how we can serve the community better as a police department. So with that, I wanted to introduce Lieutenant Barton, Commander of the Community Relations Bureau, who has worked so hard with Officer Jen McLaughlin in the back as well, and really so many of the officers from the Gloucester Township Police Department that have taught all of our graduates from the Citizens Police Academy. We're here to honor their completion of the program tonight. Lieutenant?
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing today? This year, I like that answer. This year marked our 13th year of the Citizens Police Academy, and 4th year from my participation in the program. And I just want to acknowledge Sergeant Sean Grannon's in the room tonight. He's ran the program successfully for the last 8 years, and we had some big footsteps to fill this year without his help. But I want to say thank you to him and what a great job he did with the Citizens Police Academy. Myself and Patrolman McLaughlin, this is her first year doing the Citizens Police Academy. I was told by members of the class that they like her better than me, which I find hard to believe. But like I said, I purposely make bad coffee, so I don't have to make it anymore, so for those that didn't like it. But the Citizens Police Academy, everyone, is great. It's a community program. It's free and open to the public. We do it every winter and fall. And what it is they come out for 10 weeks, and during that time, they learn everything about the police department, why we write tickets in certain areas, why we make certain arrests, how we handle drug investigations. They take classes in CPR. They learn about our special response team. They learn about our traffic unit. They learn about detectives. They learn about patrol. So, like I said, it's an understanding of what we do. So now when you see a police officer, you know how to act around us and you understand why and what we do. So today we're going to present, we had approximately 45 to 50 people randomly throughout the year in class, which once again is our highest number. So I want to thank our residents for that participation and for reaching those numbers. So tonight I'm going to call you guys up. We're going to receive certificates, and we'll do one at a time. And I apologize if I mess up any of the names. Edward Arocho. What we'll do, guys, we'll hold our applause till the very end, and we'll do one big standing ovation for all our graduates. Deborah Ball. When you guys come up, we're going to line up over to the right. Barbara Barry. Mackenzie Carr. Rebecca Zeryak. Kevin Davis. For the 18th time, Mary Jo Dantino. Congratulations. Alyssa Dorotto. Danielle Dorotto. Amber DeLeese. Jean Gomez. No comments. Earl James Hyatt. Rose Little. Doug Mahalan. Karen Maratia. Joseph Martina. Kevin Martina. Robert Mialata. Linda Monsione. Salvatore Aldrete. Sal? Telling your uncle about that one. Juan Rivera. Zachary Tavani. Q Trail. Luis Tychek. Teresa Vanel. John Zulte. Jessica Sheffield. Jennifer Tolan. Did I miss anybody in attendance from the Citizens Police Academy? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all of our graduates. Come on over here, guys. I want to get a group shot over here, okay? And one individual I forgot, Kimberly Huckle. Oh, Kimberly. Okay. Make sure everybody smiles. Sometimes I miss my collar. Let's just get a picture of Jen. Cut out. Photoshop there, all right, guys, thank you very much. Once again,
Thank you, you too.
Just a couple more awards, folks, that we have for the police department tonight. I asked that Mr. Ross from Triton High School please come forward. Mr. Rieger. Mr. Ross Rieger. while Mr. Rieger's coming up, and I'll certainly have Lieutenant Barton give you some background. But again, just honoring our participation from the community tonight and the Triton High School students, which we'll recognize, helped make a public service announcement about how important it is to lock your car so we don't have items missing from them, those that may like to go into the car and take items from that. And it really is a great project, and I will share again, Lieutenant Barton can share some of those details and honor those students who did a lot of hard work in that program. It was playing in the back this evening when you were walking in. Lieutenant?
I'm sure you guys haven't noticed I like to talk. So the chief is always wanting us to do public service announcements, and it's very hard having to work the streets and run programs and be able to edit and come up with our own programs. So I got a conversation with Glenn Smith, who's head of technology video in the school district, and I told him to offer to his schools if anybody wanted to assist us with doing a public service announcement. And Ross's class was the first to volunteer. And they invited me in, and we sat there as a class, and we brainstormed, and we came up with about different ideas, what we wanted to do. And the students and Mr. Rieger, they took it on themselves to create, film, edit, and complete everything for me about locking your door. So we're going to go live. We should be going live with it on our YouTube channel by either tomorrow or Wednesday. So everybody will get to monitor, watch the video if you haven't caught it in the back. And like I said, it teaches people that the importance of being able to lock your doors, whether it's your house or your car. This has to do with your car because most motor vehicle thefts in Gloucester Township occur because doors are left unlocked. So I'd like to, on behalf of Chief, or on our police department, I just want to honor Mr. Rieger and his class with certificates from the Chief of Police. So there you go, Ross. Thank you very much. Also, I appreciate Mr. Rieger's help. Like I said, I went to Triton High School way back in 1994. So it's been a long time, so I'm starting to show my age. So let's announce the students if they want to come up if they're in attendance. Jacob Bordzuk. Catherine Briggs. Once again, if we want to wait till the end for applause. Joe Brown. Connor Casey. Joseph Cava. Brendan Green. Thomas Kephart. Charles Leonardo. Now, Charles was my main man on creating the video, and he's also the famous actor that's in the PSA. So myself and we're going to be available for autographs after the presentation. Great job. Corey Lilia. Edward Lott. Nabil Malik. Dennis Richards. Robert Rossetti. Devin Russick. Lucas Salas, I'm sorry. William Skaverchik. And Charles Wilborn. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our trained. Once again, every one of you, thank you very much for your support, and we look forward to making some more videos next year, so thank you.
So for our final presentation, I ask that Gloucester Township Police Sergeant Tim Kohlmeyer please come forward, and also Acting Chief of Police of the Clayton Police Department, Mr. Bill Perna. While they're walking up, I want to also acknowledge the members of the Gloucester Township Police Department that came in tonight. sharing their experience with Sergeant Kohlmeyer, and I thank them for coming in and being part of this ceremony as well. Yes, sir. Let me just explain briefly about Mr. Perna. He'll give some much more background than I am, but Sergeant Kohlmeyer, promoted to sergeant really not that too long ago, attends a supervision school, as all the supervisors of the Gloucester Township Police Department do. And Acting Chief Perna administers that class through the Gloucester County Police Academy. And as you will hear from Acting Chief Perna, that we are very proud of the accomplishments of Sergeant Kohlmeyer. Very proud of him.
Good evening. The Gloucester County Police Academy, in conjunction with the Prosecutor's Office in Gloucester County, conducts this 80-hour school. We take 2 weeks to do it. We administer 2 75 questions exams, and we have such classes as discipline, internal affairs, legal issues, how to control subordinates, decision making, how to deal with problem people, how to deal with top people, alcohol problems, union problems, and dealing with war veterans. I bring up that last one because I have stolen one of the Gloucester Township Police sergeants to teach that class. He is a returning Marine. He's doing a great job over there, and Chief, we appreciate you allowing him to do it. As soon as I walk in the room, I can tell 2 police departments that are present in this class, Evesham Township and Gloucester Township. I can just look at the guys and girls, I can see that they're squared away, I can see that they're plugged in, and that's a tribute to everybody in this room, because Chief Earl and his staff are attracting the best people. And this is testament to that. The 2 tests are tough. I make them hard, and every class I make them harder. It started out 2 30-question tests, now they're up to 75 questions. So I'd like to give this plaque in recognition of Sergeant Kohlmeyer receiving the highest academic award in the class. And on behalf of both agencies, for the Leadership and Police Supervision School, the academic award is presented to Sergeant Timothy Kohlmeyer, Gloucester Township Police Department, for achieving the highest academic average in the Gloucester County Police Academy's Leadership and Supervision School. Dated May 2nd, 2014. It's signed by Senator Fred Madden and Sean Dalton, County Prosecutor. Tim, congratulations.
Unfortunately, the mayor could not be here today. His family, they're dealing with some issues, and if you can keep him and his family in your prayers. But he wanted to send his greetings to the Citizens Police Academy, also congratulations to Sergeant, and also to Triton High School for helping out with that PSA. Chief Earl, since Chief Earl assumed the being chief of Gloucester Township Police Department, you have seen an increased presence in community policing. And the efforts of the men and women of the Gloucester Township Police Department is a direct correlation of the leadership that Chief Earl exemplifies on a daily basis. So Chief Earl, on behalf of my colleagues on council and the mayor, we have a great deal of respect for you and your department and everything that you do in involving our citizens in our community. So thank you very much. Also, thank you to the graduates of the Citizens Police Academy for showing an interest in our township. My son went through the Junior Police Academy last year, the summer camp, and he came home complaining because they had to do calisthenics the first day. And Officer Jen was the nicest one. But that's something that he showed an interest to, and he's doing the advanced one this year. But now we're going to do a presentation for the Gloucester Township Hockey Association. So if I can call up Michelle Winters and Tracy Trotto to meet me down here. A few weeks ago, we honored a team that's going to, was it Slovakia?
The first game is 2 o'clock this morning, tonight into the morning.
And we can go on the website and check that out. But when they were here, we told them how proud we were of them, that they were representing our township and our community. And we briefly talked about the facility that we provided. When I say we, the community, the residents of Gloucester Township provided you guys. And you guys come back year after year with championships. You represent us well throughout the area, throughout the Northeast, and we're so proud of you. So tonight, we're taking an opportunity to recognize you and thank you for all that you do. Michelle?
So tonight we're going to recognize 4 different teams that won the national championship this year for the Street Hockey Association. I can tell you it's sweat, tears, miles, time. I mean, it's 6 or 7 different tournaments. minimum of 3 games a week, up to 6 games a week. So it's a busy season. The parents put a lot of time and energy out. The kids put a lot of sweat and energy out there, and it's a lot of work, and you should have a right to be proud. Okay, you guys are going to see your names up on those boards. Smile every time you see it. All right, so which name will you go first? No. All right, so we're going to go Beaver C first. Mr. Gallo. Son, if you want to say anything, just
say something about your team.
I just want to thank, just to reiterate kind of what Michelle said also, it is a lot of work, it's a lot of hours, it's a lot of practice for the boys and the parents, and I kind of said this at one of our last tournaments, that it's just a testament to the kids on how they kind of come together. Not everybody plays together all the time, and then you just kind of come together. You have 7, 8, 9, 10 practices, especially with the weather we had this year, and just come together as a team and play the way we played for the 6 tournaments that we played in. It's a testament to the kids. And like I said, the parents for helping out, and I appreciate everybody. And a lot of good teamwork that we had, and we had a very good team this year, and it was very nice to sit there and enjoy. I know the coaches, when I talked about it, we had a great time just sitting there watching them play, and it's a testament. I appreciate it, and I'm glad I'm standing up here getting ready to announce the kids, because it's a very, very good testament to the kids. I appreciate it. Nicholas Gallup. Aiden Summers. Kyle McGarvey. Nicholas Morello. Jake Shields. Petey DePalma. Bobby Manos. Connor Byrne. Michael Henry. KK. Benizia, I can say it. Everybody knows. CJ. Zach Burr. Stephen Braun. Danny Obermeyer. Chris Campbell. Joe Grace. Bill Braun. And Bob Manos. And Chris Howe. And last but not least, I should have said that I appreciate all the coaches too that are here and that are not here, all the work that they put in, because it is a lot of work. Thank you.
Joe, if you can keep your team up here.
All right, next it'll be Penguin C.
Wow, there's a lot of
I just want to piggyback on what Joe said. You know, these kids work so hard. 3 practices a week starting in January. You know, 6 tournaments, game after game. I couldn't be happier with the kids on this team. They just wanted it, and they went for it. We won 3 tournaments, came in second in another, and if I recall, I think we beat our B team. So, just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, Timmy Hall. Devin Byrne. Chase Stocklin. Nathan Morrell. Jason Camardo. Evan Keefe. Brandon Fascia. Logan Fretz. Alexander Robinson. Robert Carfagno. Dylan Convery. Justin Burr, J-Dog. Derek Hagan. Evan Brasberger. Michael Gorman. Evan Alvarez. Robert Bernie Mangini. Okay. Oh yeah, that's one of my assistants isn't here. Steve the Fish Fisher. Jim Burr. Tim Maroon. Me. Congratulations.
Next one will be Cadet B, Joe.
Hey, it's just not a big commitment from the kids, but it's the parents also. They start in February with the snow, and then we end up in May playing in like 85-degree weather. So we were fortunate enough, and Mother's Day, I'm sorry. We were able to win 5 of the 7 tournaments we were in, including one in Pittsburgh. So it took a lot, and it was fun, and I would do it all over again with these kids. Joey Sanino. Zach Spazatempo. Our goalie, Big Will Fitzgerald. Ryan Whittick. Danny Nabel. Jonathan Schaefer. Nick Stomiri. Jake Rappaport. Zach Cobley. Austin Cole. Matt Galloway. Anthony Washart. Danny Hurst. Anthony Chado. Dom Iolucci. And last but not least, Dalton Avamar. And real quick, the three guys who I couldn't do it without, Chris Comito, Rob Winters, and Nick Starnieri.
Alright, the last team we're going to do is... Alright, the last team is the Beaver B team, which somehow they managed to go undefeated, which is like, was it 38? 38 and 0. Watching that team, I didn't even have a player on the team, but watching that team was fun. They just came out in the beginning, and each game they seemed to build and get together a little more, and the camaraderie was there, and they just came together. It was fun to watch. You know, my husband's coaching, so I didn't really have to be there, but I went because it was fun to watch and seeing the kids and enjoying themselves every game. So I'm going to bring up Chris Comito. Yeah, Chris.
Rather than get up here and just repeat what the other three coaches said, which is all true, when we picked the team in the beginning of the year, we knew we had a good team, but we could never imagine that we were going to be this good. It was 38 games. Kids worked really hard. Even the games that were close, they always finished strong, and we won them all. So I couldn't be more proud of the kids. The parents were great, and the coaches that helped me out. So thanks to everybody. Chris Comito. Joey Bryant. JoJo. Ryan Lasser. Tyler Jones. Luke Mignon. Joe Grace. Jake, I'm sorry. Matt Cooney. Michael Stedler. Matt Michelli. Seamus White. Andrew Chicalo. Dwayne Gillespie. Eli Howie. Brody Welsh. And the other goalie, Eric Whitty. And my coaches, Rob Winters and Joe Washart. Thanks, guys.
Once again, thank you very much for representing Gloucester Township. We're extremely proud of you. Big hands to the Gloucester Township Hockey Association. There's a whole lot of purple in here today, right? We'll take a 5-minute recess.
One more question, please.
I know, and I don't remember how long it was. But yeah, I've never seen it. Like I had it sitting right on the couch.
This is just another day of work for us.
How are you? Good, thanks. This is nice.
We're not going to say another team. Ryan, it's your promise. I agree with you. You look like I can see what you're so good. Please do. It's going to make a difference. I think we had a doctor initially train our people, but I think I went to one that was for parents who had people that needed treatment. I just thought it was
See you this weekend.
oh, wow. He's the best guy. He's the best
Thanks, Joe. Good job.
Well, eventually things are changing. We don't lose much like. Did you get over yet? Hey, where's Joe? You went that way. Yeah, you can still get it. See Officer McLaughlin right at the end and tell her you want to get it on our email list. It doesn't matter where you live. And then you'll get, oh, absolutely, you'll get all our stuff emailed.
Meetings where whatever he has to do.
Yep.
I should help you. That's what's right there.
Thank you very much. It's a constant. I think there's always a different way. We can do the rest. That's just, we have to do that, but if we can prevent it, that'd be great. Thank you for your words. I appreciate it.
Chief Williams was hello, and he was going to be attending the police academy.
Oh, great. Well, I've heard a lot about you. Yeah. Mr. Bryant, Lieutenant Bryant's spoken very highly of you. Glad to hear about that. Police academy you're going to love. How old are you? 12. My son went. I guess 2-3 years. He's 13 now. So he started going, I think, right when he could. And I really enjoyed it. You'll like it. The first day or so, you're like, wow, I got to do this push-ups and stuff, but it gets to be fun. And you'll be good.
Hey?
All right, good meeting you. Have fun in the academy. I'll see you then. Seems like a good kid, yeah.
That was a woman who was just talking to me about the SAVE program. You know, I don't think there's that many people that haven't been touched by somebody they know that has an addiction problem. People really seem to respond to it, you know?
It's the little things that make a difference.
Yeah, it really is. People are really hoping that it'll help somebody they know.
Yeah.
It's good. Good seeing you.
That was your son up there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's tan. Is he real tan? Okay, yeah, that's different.
I was coming for Timmy, and then.
Yeah, it was nice as all those guys came. It really was. I always try to say something if I remember. You know what I mean? Because probably 10, 15 guys there. It's good. All right, you too.
Hopefully you're not here late.
Oh yeah, that's great. It's interesting climate change now, resurging. That's great. Yeah, sure.
All right, Bob.
Yeah, exactly.
Second group. Okay, how you doing? You're not getting an award, Well, this is supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah.
We haven't got a whole meeting yet.
I know.
That was just hors d'oeuvres.
Clerk, now, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison? Mr. Silent?
Here.
Mrs. Strato?
Here.
Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present. We have the first public portion. The public portion shall be for agenda items only. Anyone addressing the council may speak one at a time. Please state your name, your address, and the microphone. Any hands, Mr. Hockenberg?
Good evening. Good evening. All, please start work. On the agenda items, the only questions I had were specific questions related to the bill list. I see Mr. Carter's.
He had to grab something out of his office.
That's all I had related to the agenda items. I can save them for the second portion if I think it's something that he can answer. But let me throw a couple out and see if others have an answer. There was a 49,000 some odd expenditure for American Traffic Solution. That's a red light camera.
Yes.
And I didn't think we were making payments to it. I thought it was more of a situation where the fines go to them, they take out all their skimming off the top, so to speak, and we get what's left over. That we weren't specifically having to make any pre-minute payments to ATS. Is that not the way it works?
No, I believe there's payments that were made every month. Still have to be approved because it comes out.
Yeah, okay. But I guess I misunderstood how the whole red light camera system works then. The money, the billing payments don't go to ATS, they go to Gloucester Township, and then we remit Okay, all right, then that was my misunderstanding. We also made, on the bill list, made a payment for $7,000 some odd dollars to Blue Sky. And I was wondering what's happening. I know they built our energy master plan, but are we still involved with them with some kind of contract?
They're the energy consultant for the township.
And they,
I don't have the invoice in front of me. Mr. Heimel required about $7,000 payment to Blue Sky. Right on our bill list.
So we're still utilizing Blue Sky for the energy management. Right now, they're working on finishing up some of the paperwork on the ESIP program. That was the grant that we received. They're also working on finishing up some of the work on the PPA, which is the solar panel plan. They're also working on Gen Landfill redevelopment program.
okay. So when we remit payment to them, it's on they submit a bill for hourly,
Yes.
for hours worked? Okay. Another payments, there was two different payments made to Jersey Professional Management. There was a manual check and I think two checks on the bill list. And they're like a placement agency, correct? What services do they provide?
They're engaged to do a search for HR person, and they're also engaged to do a search for a public works director.
For the Public Works Director position, what services are, more specifically, what services are they doing? Are they placing ads in different newspapers?
Yes.
And they collect the resumes as well?
Correct.
And sort through them or things like that? Okay. Do you know how many resumes roughly we got so far for the Public Works position? How many?
I do not, because that's in its infancy right now.
When is there a decision expected on that?
I don't know yet.
So where else are there, I saw the ad on the township website for the job opening. Where else would one see an ad?
I believe it's in the League of Municipalities on their website, and possibly in their magazine. That's the predominant area to apply for, or to solicit for.
Okay, those are my questions, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the first public portion. Minutes?
Leave the reading and accept the minutes of May 28th, June 9th, and the June workshop.
I entertain a motion. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrada?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Bids.
Harrison Avenue sidewalk and Vice Street sidewalk.
Is there a motion? On the question, roll call.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrada?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mercado?
Yes. We have a consent agenda. Any council member that would like to take a resolution off, please speak up. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. On the question.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrada?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Regular agenda.
Resolution 14182, resolution authorizing renewal of plenary retail distribution liquor licenses in the township of Gloucester.
Madam Clerk, this is one where we have to add wine warehouse and discount liquor outlet. Correct. So, 182. I have a copy of it to amend the resolution to add wine warehouse and discount liquor outlet trading as wine warehouse. Okay, anything to add, Mr. Carl? Yeah. So with that amendment, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrada?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Resolution 183, resolution authorizing renewal of plenary retail consumption liquor licenses in the town of Gloucester.
I entertain a motion.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrada?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mercado?
Yes, we have one GT Gov access email. This comes from Mr. Tom Crone from 63 Vance Avenue. His question, can you please list the lawsuits that have been initiated against Gloucester Township, mayor, council, police, any boards, or township employees, including, but not limited to, the federal suit filed against the Housing Authority and various employees and board members since May of 2013 to present? Can you give a quick description, list those names, if it's been settled, what's the status happens to be? Please also list what lawyer or law firm is representing Gloucester Township. At the time that we received this email, it was forwarded to me prior to the meeting. I have not had an opportunity to ask Mr. Carlemere, well, go into it any further. Mr. Carlemere, do you have anything to add to this?
No, Mr. Vice President. It's the first time I read the GTE Gov was this evening in preparation for the meeting. I arrived here. It will be impossible for me to respond to that with any level of accuracy. To list all the matters in litigation and the personnel is very extensive. It seems more of an over request than something that would be appropriate for GTE Gov, so we'll have an opportunity to review it.
Okay. We'll reach out to Mr. Crone with that response. Thank you. We'll open up the second public portion. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Mr. Kolakowski.
Good evening, Robert Kolakowski, Lincoln Drive, Glen Oaks. First of all, I'd like to commend the Township and the Police Department on the Project SAVE initiative. It sounds like a comprehensive program that I hope will not only cut down on crime, but the abuse of prescription drugs and illegal drugs, and in turn save lives. The program covers a multitude of areas, ones that even I wouldn't think of, for instance, informing realtors that when they're showing open houses, to have the owners to secure their prescription medicines, and notices to funeral directors to inform the family members of the deceased that if they were taking any narcotics, informing them where they could dispose of those narcotics. So I think on the whole, it's a very, very good program. I was wondering whether any consideration was made for a campaign or materials to really just everyone, all the residents, in terms of having people come into your house. Anybody can be an addict. They can be cunning. They can go into the medicine cabinet, maybe not take an entire bottle, but maybe 1 or 2 pills, which might be all that they need till their next fix. Again, I've had a family member who was hooked on heroin. She went through multiple programs before she finally was able to come clean. And even today, and apparently she was doing the heroin, we didn't even know it, and we would have her over. And since we did found out, now when she comes over, we secure her medications, even though if she hasn't been using for a while, we secure her medications. We shut the doors. My wife and daughter, lock away their purses. Again, because you just never know when she may relapse, and you never know who is coming into your house who may be the addict. It might not be who you think. So I was just wondering if there would be any consideration through the newsletter, through PSAs on cable, whatever, to address that part of it.
Chief, would you like to can the chief address that?
Sure.
I think it's a great idea, and certainly we can incorporate it. Because you're right, sometimes it's just 1 or 2 pills. It's not the whole bottle or anything. So. And the funeral director and the realtors actually learned from Delaware County, Pennsylvania. So it was great experience to go over there and listen to what they were doing, and I was able to bring it back here. So we'll have that piece as well. We'll get something together.
Sure. Secondly, and this is the but, I'd like to address the SAVE advocate in the municipal courtroom. When I first heard of it, I thought it was a good idea, and I tracked the timeline on this because I was at all the meetings where it was addressed. The position was first brought up before the Township Council by Chief Earl on May 5th of this year during the workshop meeting. It was a discussion of an approval for an RFQ for the position. It would require at that time 6 to 7 hours a week billed hourly, with the cost coming from the general fund, and that was estimated to be $7,000 to $8,000 for this individual. At the May 12th, 2014 General Township Council meeting, Resolution R14:05-145 was introduced, authorizing the solicitation of those bids for the advocate, and at that time it was stated it would solely be on the township's website. And I know at the last meeting we had discussions, again, maybe putting an ad in the paper for when this position would become open again. At the May 28th, 2014 General Council meeting, an add-on resolution was introduced by Council Vice President Mercado after a request by Chief Earl concerning the substance abuse advocate. Resolution R-1405-157, I believe, was read, and it basically authorized the agreement between the Township of Gloucester and Genesis Counseling Centers. The reason for that was the bids were open that day, that morning, May 28th, and at that time we learned there was only, and I quote, one individual who submitted a bid. I have several problems with this process that led to the selection of Genesis. First, I was brought up by Pete Heimbaugh, I think a couple of meetings back. The position was only advertised on the township's website. I have gone on record before stating my opinion of the user unfriendliness of that website. Second, since the beginning of the process, which started publicly at the May 5th council workshop meeting, I, and I think others in attendance, were led to believe that this would be a position filled by an individual, not a company. In fact, during the vote on the resolution on May 28th, Vice President Mercado, who was chairing the meeting, referred to the submitter of the only bid as an individual. The individual would help the accused and the judge by recommending appropriate anti-substance abuse programs to help the accused with their addiction. These programs would be based on what is best for the accused, and multiple program providers could be recommended. Third, the resolution to approve the selection of Genesis was a walk-on one that did not allow the public to look at the bid or any related documentation that is usually provided by the clerk's office along with the agenda. No copies were made before or at the meeting itself. From the time of the introduction of the resolution by Vice President Mercado to the affirmation of the unanimous vote in favor of the resolution, a total time of 50 seconds, I believe, passed. That was the total that it took. At the beginning of the meeting, there was no mention that a walk-on item would be introduced onto the agenda. And only after the first public portion of the meeting, and over that time, there was no time given to public comment at the mid-meeting. When it was introduced, there was no saying now if there's any public comment for that resolution. Finally, we now have a substance abuse advocate that will be an employee of Genesis that can not only recommend counseling, but in fact works for a provider of those counseling services. That, I believe, is a clear conflict of interest. I believe it is a case of not finding the right individual who can make an impartial decision as to the best type of counseling for an individual and the best facility to provide that counseling, but a case of picking a company in advance and leading the proceedings to come to that result. Again, there seemed to be no open disclosure. There was no public comment allowed. Again, I have a problem with this, and the sad part is I think it's a good program. I think it's a very good program. I think it can make it, but it's been tainted by the procedure. And that's all I would like to say on that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Heimbaugh.
Pete Heimbaugh, Morningstar Court. I did have a list of lots of other questions, but as Mr. Kolakowski was speaking, it did bring to mind some issues I have with the SAVE program too. First, Chief, this sounds like a great program. I had opiate addiction problems touch my family. In fact, I lost a family member. And it all started with petty crime was the first flag. And if a program like this had been in place for this family member, it might have been a better result. So thank you for this program. I think it's a great idea. It sounds like something could really make a difference in lives. But as Mr. Kolakowski was saying, that the process seems to have looked suspicious, if I and this isn't just in hindsight, it definitely is in hindsight. It looks suspicious and looks like there's a conflict of interest. But even as it was happening, questions are raised about the search process for the applicant to fill the position. And now looking at the time, and now even looking back at it, it looked like it was, the suspicion is it was geared to select this Genesis outfit from the beginning. No other, it wasn't publicized enough for other qualified applicants to respond. Just seems like now, in hindsight, and like I said, even at the time, it looked a little funny. It seems like this Genesis outfit was targeted to be the winner of this from the beginning. Is that?
Pete, so you're insinuating that perhaps this body had a or had I guess, a horse or a dog in the race in selecting Genesis. I couldn't even tell you who they were or where they're located prior to that vote. Is anyone on council? The man there, Chief, sitting to my left, I trust his knowledge of the situation. I had full faith in it. He posted it. It was advertised. Bids were open, and that night we moved on it.
May I say something? And I understand what you're saying, and I couldn't have stated it better than Mr. Polakowski. I couldn't have said it better. It does create flaws. But truly, I didn't know anything about Genesis. I don't think it was preordained. I think your point of going through a different process, I think that may have some validity. But I don't think anybody here had picked Genesis, kid who you're suggesting. I really don't think. And I don't think you think that.
And I said that this isn't just, it's hindsight as well, but this wasn't just hindsight. This is such a specialty request to fill this position. It's not to build a sidewalk, it's not.
Yeah, I understand that.
And there was a very little ad on our website, and that was, and with one respondent, so that kind of proves, that kind of adds to the suspicion. One respondent.
But Mr. Heimball, what I will do, and I'll also address Mr. Kolakowski's comment about the walk-on, and I'll make the suggestion to Council President Bianchini, who will be returning at our next meeting in July, that when we do have a walk-on, we'll make copies available. And we'll also, before we go into the public portion, that first part, we'll have that on the agenda. We'll notify the public that there is a walk-on, so you have an opportunity to speak on that walk-on. Okay?
Well, that's the resolution process. Also didn't like the bid process as well. That's a whole nother topic. Maybe Genesis is one of the, I'm sure there's very few qualified outfits or individuals for this role. And probably Genesis may be the best selection anyway. It might well be, but it just, so either select them up front and say they're the best because we've vetted them, but don't go through a charade of a bidding process. It is what it looks like.
I disagree with the charade.
Yeah, well, that's not a good word, but suspicious.
I disagree with the suspicious comment as well.
One respondent.
Can I add something? I do know someone that was possibly interested in the position that would be more than qualified for it, but the issue that they have is because it is a part-time position, it would have interfered with their full-time job, so they were not able to apply for it. So maybe that's another reason why it may have been limited. It is a specialized field, and I mean, you're asking somebody to do it during the day, whereas maybe Genesis would be more qualified to allow their employees to do that.
The individual you're speaking of, how did he or she find out?
Resident.
How did she find out about
Website.
what?
They continuously check the entire Gloucester Township websites.
Okay. Well, another point Mr. Kolakowski made regarding all this is now we're looking at what appears to be a conflict of interest. The same person who's advocating and recommending further treatment for individuals, it's the same outfit who provides the services. So that's the definition of conflict of interest. Whether even if the process was pure, now we have a conflict of interest.
Chief, I'm not going to, I hate to put you on the spot. Do you believe there's a conflict of interest?
No, I don't.
This group serving as an advocate?
No, not at all. The Genesis Counseling Service began a drug court program in Superior Court 18 years ago, which is, I've witnessed it, and so they are in a position before the Superior Court, and I mean, they're honestly very reputable in changing much more serious crimes at the county level, those, maybe robbery, aggravated assault, where there's drug addiction, and both in basically the same manner, whether they engage and refer to another agency or handle that refer themselves. But I mean, they're quite a reputable company when it comes to specialization in court.
As this program moves forward, when the advocate deals with the individual who's gone through the legal process and is advised to and sent to a program for counseling or addiction program and things like that, is that public record? Is that on crime law? That won't be any kind of public record kind of thing, or?
Yeah.
That brings up a good question. Is there a measurable, somebody came up, I forget the word that they used.
Metrics.
What was it?
Metrics. Maybe.
Metrics, yes. Is there some way to determine if the program is successful, other than
that's open? A metric on this would be a great idea.
I don't know, are we that far along yet?
We're not that far. It's kind of phase one. If we put it maybe in 3 phases. Phase one initially will be the advocate will be in the court, and they will basically and I'll compare it to domestic violence. We've had that program for probably 15 years. So we have a domestic violence victim, and sometimes even the offender is in the courtroom, and the advocate is there to help guide the victim through a process. And they explain how they can get counseling, how they can get legal assistance, what a restraining order is, and so forth, the whole area of responsibility. But there's no such advocate. So, the victim is under no obligation, in some cases the offender as well, to go by the advocate's word. So we take the advocate for substance abuse in the same manner. So now we have the advocate in the courtroom, and the advocate will be there. I mean, quite honestly, it's pretty clear usually when we have someone under arrest for shoplifting that they have an addiction problem. And the prosecutor or the judge would refer and say, I'd like you to speak to the advocate. Phase one of that program is they're not mandated to do anything. But in speaking with the judge, I mean, there are people that break down crying for the judge, that I'm an addict. We have family members standing before the judge saying, I don't know what to do, and my son's an addict. And the judge has no one in the courtroom to turn to. And now he'll say, now there's a professional person back in the courtroom. And all they will do is say, all right, you can get help here, 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 and here. You can call this hotline, you can do this. That's phase one. Phase two would be the judge actually saying, you shall complete some type of counseling. And then the counseling service will get a report back. But that has to be approved by the state courts. And that's in process. That could take a week or 5 years. We really don't know. And this program has not been done in New Jersey, so if it does get approved, it's really testing the ground right now.
Well, I really hope it works. I really think it's a great step, and I trust in you to keep it pure and working the way it should. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Evening, Jim Kibblestis, Ariel. Just two simple questions, I guess. Since we are now looking for a new public works director, is there someone in charge, like an acting director, and who is that?
Yes, there's an acting director. His name is Mr. Tom Shannon. Shannon.
The reason I ask is that in our development, we had a number of cracks developed in the street, and they had come out under the previous director and started halfway through the development. And since that time, they have not completed the job, so I'll contact this gentleman, get it going.
And he works very closely with our business administrator, Mr. Carter. So
He's
actually with that firm, Jersey Professional Management.
Oh, okay. I can contact him through Public Works?
I can give you a phone number and contact him.
Fantastic, okay. Second question I have deals with Field of Dreams. A couple of weeks ago, we had a number of students up here donate money towards the Field of Dreams. And I kept thinking, as senior moments. I mean, I keep thinking these things and I forget about them. That's what I'm coming up to say. I'm just wondering, it's at Hickstown, it's Field of Dreams, we're collecting donations. Why aren't we using the open space fund that we have?
We have used some of the open space.
We have? Why can't we cover the whole expense? I mean, why are we getting donations from people?
I'm not part of the committee that meets on a regular basis. I think the dollar amount, Tracy, I think over $200,000.
Oh, it was.
That has been raised.
Oh, that's been raised.
That's been raised.
That's been raised, yeah.
Okay, how much is the estimate for building it?
I don't have that dollar amount.
900,000 or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Close to $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah.
Jim, I can get you that number.
Okay, I'm just wondering, like, we've had other...
That have opened before ours, I understand.
Yeah, and we've taken out bonds and stuff. This is something I think would be really great for, the community, especially for the ones that we want this. I think it was now freeholder Michelle Gentek had started it, and that was years ago. I don't like spending money, you know that.
Yes.
But this is something, if we're using the open space funds for other athletic endeavors, why not for the Field of Dreams?
I believe some of that money used to open space to clear the parcel of land there in Hickstown Park. I know that the committee meets on the monthly basis. They have a few other fundraisers throughout the rest of the year. But I'll get the dollar amount for you as far as an estimate for that, the completion of the field.
Yeah, because I think it would be something that would be great for the township, okay? And Chief, you are doing a good job on those plans, on those programs. They're very good. Thank you.
Mr. Palladoro.
Good evening, Council. Ray Palladoro, Ariel.
Good evening, Ray.
I had not intended on coming up and speaking, but upon observing some of the conversation about Genesis, it seems apparent to me that Mr. Kolakowski and Mr. Heimball came up in great admiration of the program, but not of the process. And when that was called into question, the first word you used towards him was insinuation, when it looked to me, in fact, that he was asking about the process and the expeditious method to which this thing passed. My question would be, in observing what's going on with this, and I read about it in the paper, I'm not as fine-tuned as I should be on this, but when it was introduced, at that point, how long before these meetings, this process on the 5th, from the discussion to the 28th, did we know about this?
The 5th, it was brought up at our workshop. And our workshop, you don't attend our workshops.
Boring.
You don't tape our workshops.
Boring.
But our workshops, but that's where we discuss matters such as this. And the chief sits down, I believe he's at the beginning of the agenda of the May 5th workshop, and he explains the entire process.
Okay. Normally, you follow a protocol to which, when you have the workshop, that something goes on the agenda. Why did it have to be a walk-on? If you had performed your duties at the table down here, would that not have been a regular part of the process to be a regular agenda item rather than a walk-on? Because my understanding, by definition, when I asked about a walk-on in the past, something that comes up last minute that needs immediate attention. This is too big a program to have been a last-minute item and a walk-on for immediate attention. It seems like we had enough time to do that, and the chief had recommended that, and you did your work here. Why was it a walk-on?
Let me address the first part of your question. It was put on the agenda May 12th to go out to bid. There was a closing date. I don't know what the closing date was. May 28th, that's when the bids were open. Wednesday, the last meeting in May. They were open that day. The chief requested to have this put on as a walk-on. We put it on as a walk-on.
At what time of day was that known?
I came in at 7:15. It was handed to me at 7:15.
And there's no way that could have been put up on the website When you do a walk-on.
Ray, as I said before, and I know you have to say what you have to say, but, and sorry to cut you off, but we're going to make copies, and we'll make sure that the public can comment on that walk-on.
Here's my question.
Going forward.
If it's on the website, those that don't attend the meeting that send an eGov question also have the ability to ask questions on that matter. For if it's a walk-on, only those here could call that into question. Not that, and again, it's not about the program, it's about the process, to which my question would be, that being the process for the citizens of Gloucester Township, and only those that were in that room to know that, does this council feel that the introduction of that, and this in no way, shape, or form calls into question the program, it calls into question the process? Was there a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act? Yes? Yes or no?
Okay. No, there was not. Procedure allows, at any meeting, any council member can introduce a resolution to be read and entertained for that night.
Okay. And again, the timeline with the ability, maybe you could improve on the process for things that are as important as this program, to have it earlier in the day, to put it onto the website so that those that don't come to fill our room could possibly read it and send a question. I mean, you can read it at 4 o'clock on a Monday and post a question, because more people than that come to this meeting would be interested in that. And putting it out in some type of community bulletin board is a great thing. I also think a whole lot of this program and commend our chief for that. It's just the process. And like I said, these gentlemen are asking legitimate questions about that process, and I know that they admire this process. Don't be so quick to jump on them about insinuation. It was about the process, and that's all that it seemed to
the
be.
words tainted, suspicious, and a charade are mentioned in each sentence about the process, I take great offense to that. So
It was
all I have to
before
say.
he even got to that part that you had implied insinuation.
Ray, I would encourage you to come to our workshops. They're on the first Monday of each month. And you can hear discussion about items that are being introduced on our budget.
I'll consider that.
Okay.
Sometimes there's school board meetings that conflict with this, I'm sure you know.
Not on the first Monday of the month.
Right. So it's tough to make that many Mondays.
Anything else, Ray?
Yes. At this time, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Bucciaroni, who's with Public Works. Some items needed to be done down at Lake Renee and down on Highland Avenue, the letter to which I passed on to you from the neighbor right across the street, and Mr. Bucciaroni attended to 3/4 of the items that needed to be done, and I commend Mr. Bucciaroni.
There's 25% to go. Okay.
He's doing a nice job at that, and it's greatly appreciated by the neighbors. Thank you. Have a good night.
Is there anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Russo.
I'm happy to be here on a very celebratory night. I came in with all the kids and everything was great. But I'm here for one reason. I came here a month ago on May 28th to this meeting, and I told you I had a problem with the generator in my neighborhood. And I went home that night. There were suggestions. I have some ideas and things like that. I went home that night. The generator was on, and I've never heard it again. So I don't know who did what or how it got done, but I want to thank all of you so much.
Well, I know some folks went out to take a look at it, or code enforcement, and also I believe the police department took a look at it. But it's not, is it operating anymore?
It's not even there.
Okay.
The wires are gone. It took a while, but the wires are gone and the generator is gone. And
Is the neighbor still there?
the neighbor is still there. Yeah. But thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Ms. Russo, when I left you the message, I inquired if you're part of Cherrywood has an HOA. Do you have an HOA?
No, we're all fee simple housing.
Because there are some parts of Cherrywood, when I've walked that area, that they have an HOA, and there are very strict, anyone who's lived in a homeowner association knows there are strict guidelines, and that's something the generator would never be allowed.
Not those original
Okay.
townhouses.
Okay.
So some other part.
Do my best to your daughter.
Okay, I will.
Yes, sir. You had your hand up.
My name's Christopher Braden. I live in Toms River. I work for Allied Energy Efficiency Experts. We
we survey homes for the New Jersey Clean Energy Program. I submitted a permit application a couple months ago for a canvassing permit for Gloucester Township. I've been calling about once a week for the last about 4 or 5 weeks. They check on the status on it. My job requires me to talk to homeowners directly, knock doors, and survey them and take questions for my job. I'm currently working in Washington Township area. I have a permit for that area. I have a permit in several other areas. There was a offense on my past when I was 18 years old. I was convicted of a conspiracy to commit burglary charge. I initially received pretrial intervention, would expunge it off my record, but I was a pothead at the time, and I had one 30-year analysis, and eventually got pushed to probation, and I did probation, and it was gone. And that was when I'm 33 now, so it was about 15 years ago. I haven't had any problems since. I got my degree. This is like the best job I ever had, working for Allied. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do to possibly get approved to work in Gloucester Township. I'm a third-degree member of the Knights of Columbus. I'm active in my church. This job, they're paying me a lot of money to do a good job and come up with results. And I'm very committed to my job, and I'm very honest and sincere about everything I've done. I just would like to get some kind of answer or final wording on whether I can be approved for this permit application. I have my bosses and my manager. They've been asking me about it. Allied plans on moving into doing some work in Gloucester Township for the New Jersey Clean Energy Program. It's a state program. The state's trying to reduce energy consumption by homes by 25%. Homes with older furnaces, air conditioners, hot water heaters. The state will fund them and upgrade them if they don't qualify for the program. That's what our company does. We're the #1 clean energy provider in New Jersey. And I was just trying to, I came in today at 10 o'clock.
You just did a promo there. Go ahead.
I was selling it.
Yeah, you did. There were no homes or gas. Go ahead.
We got flyers and everything. I came in at 10 o'clock. I talked to Lorraine and the woman. They suggested I come to the meeting to talk, just to, I guess, speak my case and maybe get a final answer.
Okay, I'm going to ask our clerk and
I
our solicitor here about,
Explain to me the canvas vendor
permitting process. The solicitor Hawker's ordinance, you're probably well aware, and I've had conversations with Nancy and Roe in the clerk's office on your issue. The ordinance as it reads requires in Gloucester Township a background check, photo, and
usually fingerprinting.
And it goes to the police department for review, and the ordinance as it reads requires the police department to make a recommendation. In this situation, your situation might be a little bit unique, and what has happened is a recommendation is not being made by the police department. The ordinance, in a sense, then doesn't allow the clerk's office to then say, okay, well, we're going to approve it, or we're going to reject it, because the way the ordinance is written, it goes through that process with background check through the police department records and all, and has to come back with a recommendation from the department, and the department is not making a recommendation. I've had a conversation as recent as this afternoon with Nancy with perhaps some amendments to the ordinance that might address your situation, but unfortunately, the clerk's office is now in that rock and a hard place. They can't say, okay, we're going to approve it. They don't have the discretion to do that the way it's written.
I understand. So the way the ordinance is written, it would just be like limbo, I guess.
It's a rejection.
Rejection, basically, without.
And I have some ideas to address that, which I spoke with Nancy back and forth, but it requires an amendment to that ordinance to address the situation that you're unfortunately falling into, something that happened 20-something plus years ago.
David, does an applicant that is denied, they have the right to appeal?
There is a process that gives the applicant the right to come to a governing body, I believe.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I have a gentleman here
Well, they probably don't have the background checks that Gloucester Township requires.
Which I applaud those background checks, but we need to do something.
I'll put it right on the table with my recommendation as a possible amendment. Probably we're going to discuss it in future meetings. It's just like a zoning application or other things that go up for recommendations and come back. My thought was is to amend something in the ordinance that says if we do not receive a response back from the Department of Police within 45 days, that is an automatic approval. So that might be something we can discuss, and that'll address your situation.
Just, I've done a lot of these permits already. I've done fingerprinting multiple times for them. I have a letter attached. I disclose everything in my past.
You were very open.
There's quite a few other townships that have approved me. I guess based on the time frame and that I never did any time in jail or anything like that.
You were very open in your application. You brought it right up front. There was nothing misleading in your application. And unfortunately, the ordinance has to be changed because the clerk feels they do not have the authority to approve it because the way the ordinance is written, it requires a recommendation back from the Department of Police. There has to be a change in order to address. It might be something we talk about on our next work agenda or consider an amendment, but that takes a couple readings of the governing body and notice 20 days after that. So it'll be a while before, even if they would want to introduce that very soon. And it's unfortunate you never sought to expunge that record, so it's there.
Yeah, I'm working on that. It takes a little time. Is there anything I can do? Maybe if not, if they can't approve it anytime soon, is there anything I can do to possibly get approved somewhere down the road?
Chris, when did you apply for your permit?
It was about 2 months ago, maybe 7 weeks.
Mr. Carver, is it possible you could dig up that ordinance and write a copy to us, send it to us electronically, so we can take a look at it, maybe discuss it at our workshop in July? We'll take a look at it, Chris.
I understand. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you listening to me.
And I appreciate you coming up and stating your case, and thank you for being forthright.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Colleen Robb. I live on Hillcrest Avenue in Blackwood. I want to talk a little bit about the new program development that you're having over in the old fields, if you will, College Drive, the Black Horse Pike, 42, and Delsey Drive. I'm a citizen of Gloucester Township for 54 years. There were playgrounds for me when I was a child. It's amazingly beautiful back there. I'm sure a lot of people have never been back there and seen the wildlife. This is very upsetting for me because I was there the other day. When I went back there, they fenced up an area and the earth movers just churned up the animals that were cornered in the fence, and there was a fawn flag, a quarter of a groundhog, boxer turtles smashed like eggs. I've never seen such disregard for life. I'm concerned about the traffic. Gloucester Township's Transportation School District is going to be great in that area. I spoke personally with David Maynard. He said they were going to start development until October. I wanted to do a little research about wetlands there. Eagles were nesting there. There's word of an old Indian grave unmarked that was uprooted. The township knew about it and did not tell the construction workers in the pit. And it's all been hush-hush. A few people know about it. There's over 200 people outraged in the last 20 hours that I've come across from Gretlock to Washington Township to my little area in Blackwood by the playground, which is right over the Davistown Road. It is going to be chaos, pollution, runoff, traffic. Nobody has been notified in our county what the citizens think or feel. We try to keep that area clean, like a green field for preservation, since the Civic Center fought it and won and kept it clean. There was always word of, low-income housing. I got through that. There was always word of building stuff there. And if you've never been back there, we were founded in 1695. It was a beautiful virgin farmland. And it's go on in a matter of 48 hours, just that one section. And when I walked back there with 12-year-old daughter and saw the remains of these animals, I could smell the carcasses. I could smell the fresh blood. Why? How such disregard for wildlife, innocent. They're running on the pike. They're running on 42. They're getting killed. What if this traffic was happening? So school starts, holidays, bad weather. If you drove back there, those circles, there probably is squad before here, one way, another way. I thought they were doing away with circles. There's probably 4 or 5 of them there. The college is done up for this. I have no idea what they're doing back there. People are saying so many different things, so many different areas, medical complexes from Cooper, high-end stores, outlet stores. Nobody knows nothing except what we're ended up with. More pollution, run up to Glenmont Lake, that ought to just dry up. We just got done cleaning up the diesel spill that I'm sure they're all aware of. It killed most of the wildlife in the lake, the beavers, everything. What do we do about it? The citizens are outraged. From our little area, like I said, Glenmont up on the hill, and Washington Township. Nobody wants it there, and it's too late. What do we do?
Ms. Rob, that piece of property that you're talking about was privately held property. It wasn't township-owned property.
Property, yes, it was Nicholas Farm.
And it was sold to Cooper Hospital.
Right.
Who then sold that off to the outlets, to premium outlets. There's going to be outlets that are going to be built there.
Well, is there
And
any
when you talked about notification, they had, in order to that application to be heard and to go through, they have to notify residents within a certain amount of area. Mr. Carpenter, do you happen to know within 200 feet of the circumference of that parcel of land? So hearings were held. They were over a year and a half ago.
Right.
They were approved.
Right.
It's been mentioned in our newsletter. It's on the township's website. We've had hearings on this. So that's what's being planned there. As far as what's happening with the wildlife there, perhaps I can ask Mr. Lechner, our Community Development Director, to reach out to the developer, share these concerns that you had regarding wildlife and what's taking place there. But that is private property now.
But a lot of people weren't properly notified. Yes, this has been talked about for years. We knew eventually they'd rip it up, but just the way they seemed to just sneak in overnight and just demolish it, and it was like a killing field. I've never in my life seen, and I'm a sole survivor. I've smelled blood. I know it very unnerved me. I will never get those images out of my mind forever. Terribly cruel. It's like animal cruelty. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And sort of the pollution. And all the area around here, that these stores don't work. And you look at Michael Clemson Road. Camden County, Gloucester Township is number 7 in 21 counties in New Jersey with the highest rate of drugs in crime. The bus 400 runs right up the pike, Camden to Philadelphia. Now, living on the farm in Hillcrest, I used to pike all the time in my car going out before. You would live a brick round that I see. And it's just like moving by the Clemson Road over to the Rockers Pike by the lake where it's quiet, serene, beautiful. So my daughter and I were walking over there, and an older couple drove over that lived across the street from the old Glenmont School. And he didn't know a lot about it, and we talked, and I told him a little information that I know on my fall. And he had tears in his eyes, and he says, I have to put my house up for sale. And I've lived here for 40 years and moved into a retirement home because I can't sit on my porch and see this. So, and I called the Courier Post. They're like, it's their land. They do what they want, when they want, how they want. And she was the editor, and I never spoke to a rudest professional in my life. I called Cedar Run Wildlife. They were outraged. She gave me some phone numbers, no answers, no return calls. It's like dead end. So, oh well, right?
No, it's private property. I'm going to ask Mr. Lechner to reach out to the developer and share their concerns about the wildlife. But It's private property and it's scheduled for premium outlets.
So when is this actually going to start? Like the openings, and is there any way you can put news about what shops are going to be there? Like the whole perimeter from Davistown, 168, College Drive, and 42. And Mr. Mayor said, we're going to rip it all off on the other side, everything. 42, I guess, was that Aldrich Apartments? But I thought there was single homes back there too.
Am I on Ridge for the outlets? No, I don't.
No, not the outlets, but rip all that area out too. I don't think
I'm
so.
not aware of any ripping up on that area.
That's what David Mayer told me. He used to be a customer of mine at this little restaurant I worked in. I spoke with briefly during that.
I'll chat with him about that.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any ripping up.
That's exact words he used, so.
Mr. Lackner, are you aware of any ripping up?
All I could say is to reiterate Mr. Mercado, it said that everything went through the proper approval process. The DEP, New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, for the freshwater wetlands delineation. They received state permits for removing some trash and debris. You'll see there's a planted area on College Drive where they did reclamations. They had an archaeological study performed and required. So they dotted all their I's, crossed all their T's.
Is there any way I
It
can
is a
get?
consequence, unfortunately. I mean, it's a major disturbance of land.
Yes, it is.
Approximately maybe 70 acres or more.
Is that what it is? Sounds wonderful.
Probably disturbed.
How the concrete and the runoff and.
No,
and
all
it just
that,
sounds
all that is,
unsuccessful.
all that, just so you know, there is a civil engineering design plan. So all that stormwater management is all accounted for. There'll be landscaping. It'll all be re-landscaped.
Natural landscape.
But it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be the woods.
The trails, the fields, we used to call it. Is there any way we can get like a blueprint or layout?
It's in my office, you can see the plan.
Okay.
Come up in my office.
That would be great. I love that. And I have a lot of people that are outraged, interested. They just want to know. They want to know about, the EPA. They want to know about the pollution, the environment, the long-term effect of what it's going to do for our community.
Well, several agencies review these plans, so the council knows as well. The local level, planning board, the county level, county planning board reviews it, state, the DEP, New Jersey Department of Transportation. Also, at the federal level, the Soil Conservation District also reviews it. So it's been reviewed from local to federal
And
and approved by everyone.
the Gloucester Township Transportation Department is prepared for this traffic. You know where Lewis School is on Davistown Road, where all the school buses park? That's all in that perimeter there. I'm concerned about major traffic backups because the roads are very, very narrow. It gets bad there in the morning with the college traffic. And I have no idea what you have planned to put there. Is it, Cooper Medical Offices? Is it a mall? Is it outlets?
It's an outlet center, the Gloucester Premium Outlets.
So that's the name of this,
Yeah.
Yes.
Gloucester?
Gloucester Township, Premium
Gloucester
Outlets.
Premium Outlets.
Gloucester Premium Outlets will be the name of it. And I also heard they're going to put like a Dunkin' Donuts on the corner of the lake there, and that Sam's Bar and Grill is a mess in there.
That's a different problem.
That's a different
That's
project.
a different problem. That has nothing to do with that. So we have this beautiful new, well, not my one.
Well, there's
development.
2 pad sites that I believe that they're interested in putting in front of, in that parcel land. There's an individual who's been designated redeveloper who has some redevelopment, and Dunkin' Donuts, I believe, is one of them. And I think they're looking for a family-style restaurant for the second pad site.
It's not successful. What kind of plans would you have in the future for Bucket Comes Road and all those closed down businesses and putting this new one up? Will that close down Cross Keys new development, all the shops on 42 in Turnersville?
Was that a question or a statement? I'm sorry.
Both.
Okay. What plans do we have
Yes,
for
if you think
Blackwood
about that,
Clementon
when
Road?
you plan this.
There have been many studies that have been done on Blackwood Clementon Road. Since I've been on council, I think there's been at least 2. One that talked about widening the lanes, one talked about narrowing the lanes, talked about a green space in the middle. There's a terminology, they call them gray fields. If you ever go down Route 30, if you're heading to Berlin, with the,
Yes.
was it WT Grant, was that, I'm a young guy, what's the name of that store?
Grant's?
Thank
Yes.
you. That sat back, that was the model, to have plenty of parking in the front and have the building sitting way back. That concept or idea has changed where, and I think that's something that you'll see with the outlets, how the parking is going to weave within the outlets. Rather than having, because if you go down Route 30, you look back and you see that, I think the police department for years, not this police department, both police departments did driving there in that particular parking lot.
Okay.
There have been the latest study that
Township's currently engaged with a company to do a redevelopment plan for Blackfoot Clemens Road. But it's that's the playing field. It kind of has to be dynamic. In the 70s, that was successful.
Right, right. And that was
in the millennium. So we have to look at what was done, see how we can redevelop that area into something that's more vibrant.
Hope I live long enough to see what happens. Just to see all these stores shutting down and their eyesores,
It's not unique to Gloucester Township. It's everywhere in New Jersey.
And the crime is real bad. He said, 7th in 21 counties in Jersey. I disagree with the SAV Act. I think they're doing too soft on the addicts. Yes, it is genetic, whatever excuse they give. The crime is a crime. Stealing from your family, your friends, your neighbors, to sell your grandpa's gold watch to buy a bag of food, and then rob the next guy. I think it's fucked up. I think they should pay the piper and go to prison. Sweat it out.
Ms. Rob, do you have anything else to add?
That should do it.
right,
I had a lot of
thank you very
stuff, and I wanted to wait to the end.
Well,
And
thank you for coming. It was nice meeting you.
okay, good night.
Ms. Carr, I wanted to, are you coming up? I have some things for you. So as you're walking up, I'll start. The ramps. You had a question about the county and our responsibility with the ramps?
Yes.
On 42. The ramp is the state. The county, that long road that leads to the circle, the county is going to retain the plowing, the snowing, potholes, signage, paint, and storm remediation. What we are responsible for is the drainage, street sweeping, the basin, and grass cutting.
They'll retain ownership.
They retain ownership. Thank you.
Thank you for that, I appreciate it.
Okay, have a good night now.
Have we taught our public works fella how to drive the sweet street, yeah.
Say it 3 times in a row.
Sweeper
Street sweeper.
truck.
Yeah. Have we taught them?
Yeah, well,
They were getting close
but
enough?
I was thrilled 3 weeks ago when they came by my house and I thought, oh, this is terrific. He went through the whole entire development and never came within a foot of the curb. I thought the whole concept is to get the garbage out of the curb and sweep it away. I called Mr. Bucciaroni and I mentioned it elsewhere. They came again and they did it. So thank you very much. But I just thought, hey, if we're going to be lending that machine out on Fridays to somebody else, they're going to want it done properly. So, okay, thank you for checking into all of that. Anything else for me?
No. What other question did you have?
Okay, no, I have a new one.
Okay, what's your new one?
And this is only because of Miss Rob. During her discourse, she was saying about an Indian grave that was dug up and the township knew. I don't know how accurate either portions of that statement are, if there was in fact an Indian grave there, if in fact the township knew. But if a grave was dug up during construction somewhere else, all construction would stop. So I'd really like you to investigate that, find out if there was in fact an Indian grave. The Historical Society would be interested in that. If the township was aware of it, if they weren't aware of it, if construction stopped when it was found, if it turns out that way, and what happened to the remains.
something that, I'm not sure if you caught Mr. Lechner's comment, that there was a archaeological, Mr. Lechner? Right, there was an archaeological
Yeah.
study that had to be completed along with their application to submit to the planning board to move forward.
Not to the planning board, to the New Jersey
New Jersey
Department of Environmental
DEP?
Protection.
Okay.
So we,
Has that been completed?
it's not come to the planning board, it came to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. I don't have a copy of the archaeological survey.
But evidently,
Can we can request a copy of that?
Yeah.
But evidently, the machines were in action. The machines dug things up. So I would expect that report to have been completed before those
Yes.
engines were turned on.
Yes.
Right, okay.
So I'll ask Mr. Lechner to reach out to DEP and request a copy of that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Kolakowski? Is there anyone else after Mr. Kolakowski? Okay, he's the last speaker of the evening.
Yes, I will. I just wanted to address the one speaker about the premium outlets. I would suggest to her to go on the site before each meeting, download the agendas for the various meetings. They usually include the information about what is going to be presented at the meeting and any submissions, especially for zoning and the planning boards. I know that Simon, the developer of the premium outlets, submitted a whole package of information. I don't know whether it's in the agenda items or in the minutes, they were included, but you can get the full reports of what they submitted for their plans, the traffic patterns. They're supposed to fix the roads back there. There's supposed to be a light at the Black Horse Pike and Zimmerman because the police department asked that. If you go on the site, it isn't an easy site, but if you dig around, you will be able to download most of, I think, what you're interested in, what you may be interested in. And I don't know if Mr. Lechner can provide the exact meeting date or the minutes date that was included, but that's where I got my information from. Also, I'd like to say that I would encourage you to come to these meetings. There's about 6 of us, a gang of 6 that are regulars here and always speak. We wouldn't mind seeing another face. And I will say one thing about council, Vice President Mercado and President Bianchini, and I've said this before, they do give you ample amount of time to state your case, to ask questions, and to express yourself. They rarely, if ever, cut you off. So again, I encourage you to come out here, be a participant, and get involved. That's it. Thank you, Council.
Close the portion. Upon the directors.
Mr. Lechner?
I have nothing to add, thank you.
Chief Earl?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Mr. Hutchison?
I'd like to congratulate all the award recipients this evening. Job well done. And I'd like to commend the citizens who spoke at the podium tonight. A lot of your points were well thought out and make us pause. Thank you.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes, I would also like to congratulate hockey players on their accomplishments, and also congratulate the citizens for taking part in the Police Academy ceremony, because it's good to have the residents to be active in community programs such as Police Academy. And also, I think the residents brought up some good points tonight. A lot of the points that the lady was talking about, they were discussed in detail at the planning board meeting, and most of that has been approved, and they're ready to put the shovel in the ground now. But it would pay to come to the planning board and the council meetings to try to find out as much as you can about what's going on. And two, you mentioned that there were some residents that felt that they weren't notified about the project. And if you have names of people that were adjacent to the project, you can notify the clerk's office. They can find out if these people were notified about the project.
They're on the Gridlock slide.
Okay, that's all I have.
Ms. Estrada?
I'd like to congratulate all the recipients of their awards this evening. And I'd also like to take the time to thank the Township Public Works, the Police Department, and all the other employees that helped make our Relay for Life event last Saturday a success. We had minimal issues that arised. We had a great turnout. The weather was awesome. We raised $52,000 plus for the American Cancer Society, and it was an awesome event to see the community, all the different ages, take part in an event like this that really get what you can really see how cancer affects everyone, whether they're a survivor or they're a caretaker or whatever the situation is. But I am very grateful to everybody, council, the mayor, everybody that had a hand in this event. Gloucester Township has raised well over $300,000 now since its inception. And on behalf of the American Cancer Society, I cannot thank you enough, and I hope that we can continue in Gloucester Township for years to come, and that the up-and-coming youngsters will continue to have it grow in the community. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Mrs. Leonard, I just want to thank all the award recipients. A lot of time and energy goes into all those things. Triton High School for their support of the police. And thank you, everyone, for your comments. Alfredo?
Thank you for coming out this evening. Congratulations to the Assistants Academy graduates, Gloucester Township Hockey Association. They can fill up a room. And congrats to the rec department. This past Friday, this is the 10th year of movie night in the park. And they had Frozen. I haven't seen that movie, but they had 500 plus people in the park Friday night. My son passed on it. He's like, no thanks. Frozen, but 500 plus. So that's wonderful that we had that many people out in the park on Friday night. And lastly, to Tracy, to commend her and her committee for Relay for Life on your leadership. It was 4 years ago, where I noticed this community leader from Glendora, who was passionately involved with Relay for Life, and approached council and talked about bringing this successful program to our community. It has blossomed. I've participated for the last 5 years in it. I wasn't looking forward to staying up all night, but I stayed up all night. I had a nice conversation with this car at 4 in the morning and walking around the track. But it's not a Tracy event, it's not a council event or a Republican or Democrat or whatever event. It is a community event, and everyone's involved there. And I think we all try to pride ourselves on staying up throughout the night. And there's very few. Joanne was there. You stayed up. I stayed up all night. But the amount of work that goes into it, so I commend you and your committee, Public Works and the Police Department for keeping us safe. It was a cold night. It got down to 53 degrees down. Some people wearing sweatshirts. But it was a wonderful night. Yes. But thank you very much, and have a good evening.
If anybody has the opportunity, Gloucester Township is actually the first Relay for Life in South Jersey that will be recognized nationally by the American Cancer Society. And that is a huge deal for Gloucester Township when you consider the amount of relays in the world. This is not just a New Jersey event or a United States event. This is a worldwide event, and we will be recognized nationally because of the enthusiasm that Gloucester Township shows year in and year out. So I cannot thank you enough. It is a huge deal for Gloucester Township and the American Cancer Society in the South Jersey area to have us recognized nationally. So I invite you to please, if you get a chance, go see our pictures on our Facebook page, the Relay for Life of Gloucester Township. Check out our pictures. That is what will represent us on a national level and get us national recognition. So again, thank you so much for the support. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. I entertain a motion to adjourn. Second? Okay.
Second.
Have a good night.